Hello, and thanks for tuning in. Today, we're going to take a look at a video from Lauren Southern, which states quite frankly that millennials are being set up to be lonely. Mind you, it's not a question, but we are going to treat it like one.
Hey everyone! Okay, so I know you've been missing our little chats. Finally, we have been reunited, and we're going to be talking about a billion things. But first of all, one thing that really pissed me off, and I think you too.
Was it the unnecessary use of hyperbole? You're not going to talk about a billion things in 15 minutes. Come on, Lauren. Come on.
A tweet I sent out a few weeks ago.
The tweet reads, "Because dying alone with no one to carry on your ideals and bloodline is like totally awesome." Just in case you can't read it there. I don't understand why she cares if certain people do not wish to have children. Does Lauren think that children are nothing more than little machines that carry your DNA that you can program to spread your ideology? Sounds like a lot of, extremists, doesn't it? Simmer down, Lauren. Some people don't want to have children. Some people cannot have children. And sometimes it is justifiable to not have children.
These gay guys made a video.
You misconstrued their entire argument so terribly that I'm going to play you literally the first line from their video.
It's no one's place to tell you whether or not you should have a kid or not, but a lot of people seem to act as though you'll be completely unfulfilled unless you have children.
Sounds to me like they hit the nail right on the head, Lauren. Please continue.
Saying why you shouldn't have kids. And this wasn't just one video though.
It's called clickbait, Lauren. Your video is entitled "Why Millennials Are Being Set Up for Loneliness." You understand clickbait. But at the same time, their video is actually full of justifications for not having children. So it is not misleading. You just read the title and apparently didn't listen to the rest of the video. I only had to listen to about 5 seconds to know that you are mischaracterizing and misrepresenting the argument. Lauren, did you listen to the video for the first 5 seconds? By chance?
For some reason that week there was tons of articles from like The Guardian, and it's like it's not lucrative financially, like you're supposed to even consider that.
You're literally performing an improv scripted skit, and you felt like you should leave that in there. It's really distracting, isn't it? But back to her point. Lauren Southern wants you to know that Planned Parenthood is bullshit, and you should just have kids, whether you can afford them or not. Because money is not something you should consider when you're attempting to raise and provide for a child. Lauren, did you take an extra dose of stupid this morning? Because it surely sounds like it.
It's about family.
What does that mean, Lauren? It's about family. Don't you think you should care enough about the children you're potentially going to have to worry about whether or not you can financially provide for them? And people tell me I have my priorities backwards.
But just all of this like bombardment of articles on do not have kids, do not have a family, live selfishly, and
so, Lauren, you believe that it is much less selfish to have children just so they can spread your ideals and not worry whether or not you can afford them than it is to just not have children. I will never understand you, I guess.
I was like, wow, it's like totally cool to not have kids, not pass down your bloodline or your ideals and just be selfish.
Remember, folks, if you don't have a child for the sole purpose of passing along your bloodline and your ideals, you're being very selfish. Don't you understand? It's very selfless to have a child and program it to believe everything you do, and use it only as a means to pass on your DNA, rather than treating it like a human with its own emotions and thoughts and abilities. No, that's not selfish at all. Remember, don't have children when you can afford them. Don't pay any thought to how much they cost, because getting your ideals and bloodline out there is much more important than making sure you can afford to take care of a child. I mean, making sure you're financially stable so the child doesn't suffer. That would be selfish, Lauren. Do you understand why I'm slightly upset at your logic, Lauren? Has it sunk in yet? Am I being too subtle?
But people got really mad. Lauren, I can't believe you would say this. Like, don't you understand how hard it is to have kids these days? The world is overpopulated. You probably read a lot of them, so I want to get your opinion
I did.
on
Well,
the
actually,
outrage.
I watched.
Please, talk over one another. That'll save time. It's not like you could save time by editing out all the...
Yeah.
I was like, wow, it's like totally from like the and it's like it's not like
stuff. No, that would be too time consuming. Talk over each other. That'll save 3 seconds and make it harder to understand you. Not selfish at all to interrupt someone, right?
like
This video, and when I was watching it, because you sent me a picture, a screenshot of it, and you were like, look at this video, this is stuff we talk about. Now it's like, I thought the exact thing when I watched it, because I'd watched it a few hours earlier.
Like, oh my goodness, we did this thing, and then we did another thing, and then we did another thing, there was a thing, and there were some other things, and other things happened. And I think I need to give some more exposition just so you understand how we arrived at this video.
And I think it's funny. And I think it's funny. And I think it's funny.
I was like, wow, it's like totally
When you look at all the reasons why people don't want to have kids, they're always very selfish.
lucrative financially, like you're supposed to even consider that.
It's like you lose sleep. You know, it's very expensive.
Like you're supposed to even consider that.
And I think it's funny. And a lot of the responses too were the same thing. Where I think the excuse, like, we need to preserve the planet, it's overpopulated, is just something people fall back on.
That's right. If you're concerned about the well-being of the planet so that future generations can live on it, you're selfish. Thinking about how others are going to survive in the changing economy, it's selfish. Somehow. Because, like, reasons, I guess? You know, it's funny. I wish I could put more contempt in my voice, but I just don't have enough at this point.
Because they don't want to have kids and they want to justify that.
Exactly.
No, you're creating false drama by purposefully propagating a false cause or reverse cause fallacy, because what's actually happening is people are deciding they don't want to have kids, and they're trying to explain the reasons to you why. They can't afford it. They think there's too many people on the planet. They don't want to pass on the negative aspects of their bloodline, such as genetic predispositions for certain diseases. They don't necessarily believe that it's good to just have a child to pass on your preconceived notions. And they believe the child is more than just something you have. Like, I don't know, its own being with its own agency. And they understand that this is more responsibility than perhaps they can take on. But you want to dismiss all that and call them selfish. You are a vile creature, Lauren Southern. And I take pity on any children you choose to have, while you still have this mindset that they are simply an object that you should have for no reason other than to have it, and to make sure you can use it as a tool to spread your words and carry on your genetics. It may be a natural feeling, but it's pretty reprehensible to objectify children in this regard.
And I would say to prove that, you had Emmanuel Macron come out and say that Africa's problems were caused by them having too many kids.
Yes, but it's not incorrect. Many of the problems in Africa stem from the fact that the parents of the children cannot take care of the children, because they cannot take care of themselves. That's literally one of the problems associated with the kind of overpopulation that is happening in Africa right now. Not to mention the spread of HIV and things like that, which we're working on, but it's a very slow process. Beyond that, just because having children or not having them is selfish doesn't make it necessarily a bad thing. Having children is actually more selfish than not having children, because the child has absolutely no say in being born, you see. But the point remains, if it weren't for that selfish desire to pass on your ideals, and pass on your bloodline, and survive another round like evolution wants you to do, or rather, like evolution programs you to do, essentially, by selecting people who reproduce to create the next generation, that doesn't make it a bad thing that having children is a selfish choice. You see, you're acting as though there is this false dichotomy where the selfish thing is necessarily the bad thing, and it's not. Self-interest is a very good thing to have in a great many cases. It's why most creatures have a sense of self-preservation. But it is more selfish than saying, I'm going to forego that in the interest of letting others live better, and letting the future live better, you see. Sometimes selecting out, rather than selecting in, is important, is necessary, and is definitely less selfish than saying you should just have kids because you are you. But that's where I'm going to leave this video before my blood pressure goes over 9,000. So if you enjoyed that, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Leave me comments down in the comment area. Down in the doobly-doo, you'll see links, my blog, my Patreon, and all that good shit, if that's your kind of thing. I did a video collab a little while ago you'll probably want to check out. And don't forget to check me out on VidMe. If you're subscribed to me here, you should follow me there, just in case anything should happen to my YouTube channel. I've also started occasionally streaming on Twitch, so if you're into that kind of thing, on the weekends more often than through the week. There should also be a link to that down in my description, but if there's not, I'll make sure to get one added. Without further ado, as always, this has been Reverend JR, signing off.